the rock and roll icon from one of the greatest bands of all time, AC/DC. We've got Brian Johnson with us. Hello, Brian. How you doing, buddy?
Good morning, boys. Hey, Russ. How are you?
Yes. Hey, man, we're so glad to talk to you. I think we might have a friend in common. You know Cosmo, right? Cosmo does your lighting, does he not?
Oh, yeah, Cosmo go back so far. We know the pharaohs. Yeah, he's one of the nicest people on earth.
He's a super nice guy, and he's really I try to tell these guys in the community, he's known as one of the great lighting engineers that in rock and roll. Is that not accurate?
In the world.
Wow.
We wouldn't go out without him. We just would not go out without him. He has a certain eye for light and sound, and he's the best.
Awesome. He's a good friend of ours, super nice guy. But Brian, I know you've got a book that's out, and I cannot wait to read it because I find your story one of the most fascinating stories in rock history. I mean, this is one of the very few bands where a lead singer passed away and a new guy comes in and you take the whole band to a different level. Is that basically what the book is about?
Yeah, it's the book's about the early days. You see, first of all, when people say you must write a book, I said, why? What's the point? And then age suddenly creeps up on you and you go, well, I'll put the truth down. And then I was replaced. I replaced Bon. I didn't replace him. Bon had passed away. And I got that job. And a lot of people in the world, Russ, thought, well, who's he? Where'd he come from? And the tale of how I got to that point was a fascinating story of me, being living in a mining village, a dirty little place in the northeast of England. And, the only way out of there was being a good sportsman or being a singer or being a musician. That was the only way you could get out, and I was determined to get out of there, And I joined a small band and did it. And then in the 70s, I joined another band and we had some hits in the English and the European hit parades and all of that. And then poverty again, we got ripped off, the story. And then I found myself looking at the classifieds so I could pay the rent for my wife and 2 kids at the time, and then just started another band and we're doing well, and suddenly this telephone call came by a very strange woman who said, "You are Brian Johnson? You're a singer?" I said, "What?" Said, "You must come to London to sing with a band." And I asked her, I said, "Which band?" And she went, "I cannot tell you."
Oh, wow.
And I said, "Well, I'm not coming to London. That's a long way."
That's amazing.
She said, "Okay, I will tell you." I said, "Give us a clue." And she said, "I will tell you the initials." And she said, "It is AC." That's how I found out.
That's amazing. And Brian, at that time, did you know who AC/DC was? Were you a fan of the band already?
Yes. In my band in Newcastle, we did a cover version of Whole Lotta Rosie, and we used to save it till last. And I had a great band up there. It was called Geordie 2, and we were probably one of the most popular bands in the northeast of England. And we finished the set off with Whole Lotta Rosie, and of course, we'd have to do it again and again. And to satisfy the crowd.
Brian, do you know how your name came up on
how'd they find you?
On their list, like on their end? Do you know how that happened?
Yes, well, in 1973, I was playing in the first Geordie, and we played in Torquay, and we got there pretty late, and there was a band on stage called Fang. And guess who the singer was? It was Bon Scott.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know he was called Bon Scott. All I know is that when they'd finished and we'd finished, I got together and me and him sat down, had a pint, swore to see each other again because we got on so well and never met each other again.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
It was amazing that he You know, I'm still in touch with his brother, Derek, in Australia, and we're still talking. He said, I'll never forget Bon used to say to the boys, there's only one bloke in England that's worth a toss singing rock and roll. And he mentioned my name.
That's awesome.
Wow. So
And it's all in the book, the stories, you know, Mutt Langer, the producer who produced Highway to Hell and Back in Black, he had said, hey, listen, I've heard of somebody. But I was under the radar then, boys. You know, I was up in Newcastle playing in the working men's clubs, you know, and making enough money to get by. But at the same time, people in London would never have heard of it. But that's why I love the boys in AC/DC. They don't care. I was 32 at the time, same age as Bon. That's pretty old for a band singer to start. And the boys were about 24, 25, and Cliff was about 30. But that was it. And, you know, and I went down, and as soon as I walked in the room for that audition, you know, and Malcolm came up and said, there you go, mate. And he gave me a bottle of brown ale, Newcastle brown ale, the beer. I said, oh, mate, I could kill that. And I downed it in one go. I was driven 6 hours, you know. And we sang a couple of songs together, and there was sparks, you know.
chemistry right away. Hey,
Oh my gosh.
Brian, when you're writing Back in Black, and this is after Bon Scott had passed away, the first album that's kind of come out since his passing, did you feel pressure? Did you feel like in some way he was kind of helping you write it? Like, what was your feeling writing that album?
It's funny you should say that, because yes, I was worried. No, I wasn't worried. You know, I wasn't cocky, but I knew I had a voice to do what these boys wanted, because I could. And then I remember we went to the Bahamas. I'd never been there in my life. All I had was a pair of jeans and 2 T-shirts. That was it. And it was 92 degrees, and they put us in these little shacks, and they gave me a cassette player and a legal pad and a pen, and they said, right at the last minute, you can write lyrics, can't you? I went, well, I'll give it a shot. I really had. And I sat there, and they said, here's the title of the first song. It's called Shook Me All Night Long. I said, that's a long title. He said, yeah. Can you do anything? Well, of course, all I knew about was motor cars, you know, so I wrote the first line I wrote was, she was a fast machine. She kept her motor clean. She was the best damn woman that I ever seen.
Oh my God.
And then about 30 minutes later, I looked at me hand and the pen, and I'd run out of page.
That's amazing.
I finished. And I'll never forget, you know, I don't believe in the hereafter or anything like that. But it was, I remember just looking up and saying, thanks, mate.
Wow.
And that's all I said. I don't know who I was talking to, but mate, when you start with an empty page, and then you just write, and then you suddenly look and you're going,
Yeah.
geez, I finished.
And you end up with arguably the greatest rock song of all time. I mean, what's better than You Shook Me All Night Long? I mean, that's amazing.
Wow.
Yep, and I don't know how it happened, because I've never done it before, and that's the truth.
Wow.
I've never written a song. And I just looked and said thanks to whoever was up there giving us a hand, if you'll excuse a pun. But, you know, it was actually doing the album was a bit of a blur. I remember when I was researching the book and trying to make sure I got everything right, I phoned up Cliff, and I said, Cliff, can you remember what time I went in to sing and what you said? He said, it was a blur, mate. He said, we worked so hard. He said, we only had 6 weeks. That's all we could afford.
Wow.
And I went, right. And then I asked Angus, I said, Angus, I'm just putting down, Shook Me All Night Long was the first song we did. And he went, no, mate, no. It was Back in Black, wasn't it? And I went, no, it Shook Me All Night Long. I said, well, you're no help.
The book is called...
The truth is, it was so exciting and done so fast. You know, everybody's got a different memory, I think, you know.
Sure.
Yeah, the book is called The Lives of Brian. It's a great gift for the holidays. Brian Johnson, if you ever have time to call us back, we could talk to you for an hour. I know that you're on a tight schedule and everything, but thank you so much for taking time to talk to us.
For everything.
Russ, I can talk for an hour.
Do you have to go now?
What's that?
Do you have to go now, or you?
Yeah. We
Oh, we got a break.
No, I'm going to go now. I'm going to Baltimore.
All right, Brian. Well, the book, once again, is The Lives of Brian. Is a great gift for the holidays. God bless you, man. Thank you for taking time to talk to us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us, Russ. You're a good man. See you, boys.
See ya. Oh, my God. So,
okay.
that
I was
amazing.
hanging with
There's a
Russ
lot to
back
that.
in the day, and I'll never forget this thing he'd say. He would never say goodbye every time he'd walk away. He'd say, swirls, it's like